Hello, my name is Putkonen. Thank you for joining me. Today I'm talking about a lover of what is can make change. This topic came up kind of due to some comments and responses to an earlier video, because I had talked about a lover of what is and the misunderstanding and stuff that I want to cover is regarding the question that arose that goes, well, why would a lover of what is do anything to make a change? You know, if somebody is in a horrible situation, why would they do anything to change that situation? And the fundamental misunderstanding here is the idea that the situation or that anything is constant. Everything is constantly changing. There's constant flow, constant change. Nothing is static. And so a lover of what is a lover of change and knows that everything is constantly changing. And so if a lover of what is in a situation, regardless of what's going on, they know that, so to speak, it's like you're walking along, let's say you're walking along, you can either walk uphill or downhill. There is no flat. There's no way to keep the status quo. You're walking up or walking down. And so if you have this situation, you're like, well, I can do this, which will, improve the situation. I can do this that will make the situation degrade perhaps even more. But there's no option to keep the situation as it is. It will constantly change. And so when a lover of what is living, they're still acting, making changes that in the unknowable future, how things will change. That doesn't mean they don't love what is now. It's kind of like if you're playing a game and let's say the current scenario of the game is the lover of what is steadily going deeper and deeper in the hole points wise, for example, let's say. And so it looks like they're losing more and more. What this person was suggesting is, well, why would a lover of what is do anything to change this and try to win? Why would they try to come out with a win at the end? Why wouldn't you? That's what makes the game fun. The whole point of any game is to try to improve your situation. Even in a losing situation, you're trying to turn it around. And perhaps you have a spectacular comeback and you win the game in the end. Perhaps you don't. It doesn't matter. The point is to play the game and play as well as you can, trying to win. Because what's the opposing idea? Somebody starts losing, and then they just give up. They just go, and just they don't even try anymore. And maybe you've played with people like this in your life, a game or whatever, and as soon as they start losing, they give up, and it's like they throw the game. That's no fun to play. They only sincerely play the game if they're winning. And if they're not winning, they're not even trying. These people are not fun to play with. What you want is somebody who's trying to win to the very end of the game. And so if you're if the lover of what is in a bad situation in the game, and you're doing what you can to turn it around. Because you can't, it's not a static state. You can either lose more, ever more, from round to round, or you can start making headway for the win. So you can go up, you can go down. There is no static. You're either going to be losing worse by the next round, or you're losing not as bad by the next round. There's no, you are losing exactly the same as the last round. There's always progress or regress, so to speak. There's always that change. Now, if you look on a very superficial level, You could just say, well, they're still losing either way. But that isn't the point. If you really look at what's going on, it's constant change. And there's progress or regress. There's catching up or falling further behind. There's no static state. And in that scenario, a lover of what is loving playing the game. And yes, you happen to be losing right now. And so that's fine. You're totally content with this. You're totally at peace with this. There's still a deep connection and acceptance and non-resistance and non-denying of what is. But that doesn't mean you're unable to try to turn it around and try to win the game. To try to win the game from a losing position doesn't mean you dislike losing and hate losing and therefore you're fighting reality. That's not what's going on. When it comes to a game, until the game is over, you really don't know how it's going to turn out. Because I've seen spectacular reversals in various games. And you just don't know until the game is done. And then whether win or lose, it really doesn't matter, because the whole point was to play the game. And the playing of the game is kind of part of what loving what is. You're loving the play of the game. It's like, yes, I perfectly am content and love where I'm at. But I know it can't be a static state. It can't be static. It's going to change. It is ever changing. And so what direction do I want to go? And that's how a lover of what is can act to make change. The fact that you're making a change doesn't mean you're resisting what is. Now, most people, from an egoic point of view, that's exactly what's happening. They're resisting what is. And so that's why they act, is they're resisting what is. And they're trying to fight what is or escape what is. Or, they are in conflict with what is. That is exactly how the egoic mind works. But I'm talking about after enlightenment. The lover of what is just playing the game, working cooperatively and collaboratively, doing what they can to try to win the game, because that's the whole point of games, are trying to win the game, regardless of where you happen to be at the moment. And so the lover of what is doesn't get too fixated on, I'm here and I want to stay here. That is thinking about things in a very static, unchanging way, which isn't reality. Really, everything's ever changing. And so here is a fluid thing. And you can change. You can go with the flow, both in a positive and negative way, so to speak. In terms of, let's say you're playing a game, you can do things that will potentially improve your score, and there's things you can do that will potentially decrease your score. As long as you're playing the game, it's either going to get better or worse. It's not going to stay static. And I think that's the fundamental misunderstanding and thinking of that is people want to think about what is as a static thing. I don't want this to change. Well, no, that's wrong. What is ever changing. And so to exert some choice or will over the direction of the change is not a resistance or fighting what is currently. It's just realizing what is changing. And so if things are going to change, this is the way I would like it to go. So I'm hoping this makes a bit more sense. But if you got any questions, comments, please post below. Until next time, thank you much.